A quiet day at Unity Park. Unity Park was the most peaceful place in the city. Tall trees reached for the sky, birds sang sweet songs, and small cleaning drones floated gently near the ground, picking up litter. Families laughed, children played, sunlight danced on the surface of the pond. In one quiet corner of the park, a little black girl named Lila sat cross-legged on the grass. She was only 8 years old. Her big brown eyes were full of curiosity. In her hand was a small stick, which she used to draw stars and planets in the dirt. Beside her sat her favorite toy, Teddy, a robotic teddy bear that blinked with soft blue lights. Teddy was not just a toy, he was special. Her father had made him. Teddy could scan the skies, speak over comms, and protect her if needed. But right now, he was just sitting peacefully, softly humming a lullaby tune. Lila looked up at the clouds and smiled. "Daddy will be here soon," she whispered to Teddy. Teddy's glowing eyes blinked. Estimated arrival, 14 minutes. "Would you like to play a game while you wait?" Lila giggled. "Let's play pretend space patrol." But before the game could start, loud footsteps interrupted the calm. A grumpy-looking man, tall with a red face and an old military jacket, stomped over. His name was Mr. Holtz. Everyone in the neighborhood knew he didn't like noise, children, or anything that wasn't his. He looked down at Lila and frowned. "You, what are you doing here?" Lila blinked in surprise. "I'm just waiting for my dad." "This is a clean area. You're messing it up with dirt drawings. Go play somewhere else," he shouted. Lila looked around. There were other kids nearby, even a boy who had spilled juice under a bench. But Mr. Holtz didn't yell at them, only her. "I'm not hurting anyone," she said politely. "My dad will be here soon." Mr. Holtz stepped forward and kept Teddy. The bear rolled a few feet away, landing on its side with a soft mechanical whimper. "Don't talk back," he growled, and slapped Lila's hand away from her drawing. A sharp gasp came from a nearby mother. A pair of teenagers filming videos stopped and stared. Above them, a small floating drone turned its lens, recording everything. Lila stared at her hurt hand. She looked at Teddy, now scratched and blinking slowly. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. Instead, she calmly reached inside her jacket and pressed a silver badge hidden under the fabric. It was smooth and cold to the touch. It sent a signal that only one man could receive. She whispered, "Daddy, I need you." Across the city, in a tall tower marked with the symbol of the Intergalactic Peace Authority, a glowing alert lit up on a secure console. Coordinates locked in. Back in the park, clouds slowly began to shift. The wind picked up, calling for help now. Mr. Holtz sneered. "Your kind always pays the victim." Lila didn't answer. Teddy suddenly twitched. His eyes glowed red for a moment as he ran a full scan of the area. A small panel opened on his back. Inside, a chip marked with the initials CR01 began transmitting. The teenagers took out their holophones and started filming. "What is wrong with him?" one whispered. "I think he hit that little girl," said the other. Mr. Holtz turned to the drones. "Stop filming me. I'll sue all of you. I'm a veteran." But the drones didn't listen. Suddenly, the grass at the far end of the park folded back, and a large metallic platform rose from underground. It made no sound. It simply appeared, like magic. Everyone froze. From the platform, a tall figure stepped out. He wore black armor with glowing blue lines. A long coat flowed behind him. On his chest was a shining badge with a planet and shield. Chief Rayner, head of Earth's Special Law Unit. Lila smiled softly. "Daddy's here." People started murmuring. "Wait, that's the chief. The chief of police?" "No, not just that. He works with the Galactic Council." Mr. Holtz took a step back. Rayner's helmet folded away, revealing a calm, strong face. His eyes scanned the park until they landed on Lila. He walked straight to her, knelt down, and gently fixed Teddy. "You okay, sweetheart?" he asked. Lila nodded. "I am now." Rayner turned slowly toward Mr. Holtz. The wind stopped. The park went silent. "I received an emergency signal," Rayner said in a deep voice. From my daughter. Mr. Holt stammered. I didn't know she was your kid. Raina's expression didn't change. Does that matter? Everyone in the park held their breath. The drones turned, now fully focused on Mr. Holtz. The clouds above shifted again, revealing 3 more armored figures hovering in the air. Something big was about to happen, and it had just begun. The crowd reacts. The air in Unity Park turned cold, even though the sun still shone. Chief Raina stood tall beside his daughter, his dark armor glowed softly with blue light. He didn't shout. He didn't move fast. But the way he stood made everyone quiet. The crowd that had gathered near the scene began to whisper. Parents pulled their children close. Teenagers kept filming. Some people slowly backed away. But no one could look away. Mr. Holtz, the angry old man, was now pale. His hands trembled. I didn't mean any harm, Holtz said, trying to smile. She was drawing on the ground. I thought she was damaging the park. Raina didn't reply. Instead, he turned to Leela. Tell me exactly what happened, he said softly. Lila nodded and spoke clearly. He yelled at me, kick Teddy. Then he hit my hand when I tried to draw. I told him I was waiting for you, but he didn't care. Teddy the robotic bear let out a low beep. A small hologram appeared from his eye, showing the full footage. Everyone could now see Mr. Holtz slap Lila's hand and kick the bear. The crowd gasped again. Raina looked at the image, then stared at Holtz. You attacked a child. You damaged property. And you did all this while city surveillance drones were watching. Holtz tried to defend himself. She was alone. How was I supposed to know? You shouldn't have to know who she is, Raina interrupted. His voice was calm, but firm. No child deserves this treatment. No human. No alien. No one. Suddenly, a sleek hovercraft landed behind them. It was silver with red markings, Internal Affairs, the Justice Department. 2 officers in black suits stepped out. One scanned the footage from Teddy. The other checked drone logs. Everything matched Lila's story. Raina turned to them and nodded. Mr. Holtz, one officer said. You are under investigation for assault, harassment, and endangering a child. Holtz's face turned red. You can't arrest me. I pay taxes. I served in the Mars conflict. The officer replied coldly, and that does not excuse violence against civilians. You are coming with us. 2 mechanical cuffs floated from the hovercraft and locked onto Holtz's wrists. He struggled as the officers led him away. She's just a kid. Why is everyone acting like she's the president's daughter? Raina finally spoke again. His voice echoed through the park. She's more than that, he said. She's mine. Lila smiled. Teddy stood beside her again, his scratches slowly repairing themselves. A few people clapped. One woman stepped forward and said, Thank you for handling this with peace, sir. Your daughter is brave. Raina nodded. The brave one is the little girl who stayed calm, even when no one protected her. He looked at the crowd. And to those who stood by and watched, remember this, silence is a choice. Next time, speak up. People looked down in shame. As the hovercraft lifted off with Mr. Holtz inside, the park slowly returned to normal. But the story had just begun. Above the park, satellites recorded everything. On the intergalactic network, the video began trending under one title. Man hits little girl, then learns her father runs the system. The world was about to change. The truth spreads. By evening, Unity Park was empty. But online, the world was exploding. The footage of Mr. Holtz hitting little Lila had already gone viral. People across the galaxy watched the moment her robotic teddy bear recorded the attack, and the moment her father, Chief Raina, the highest-ranking peace officer in the Central Earth Alliance, stepped into view. Millions commented. Some were shocked. Others were angry. One news anchor said, She's the daughter of the most powerful lawman in this sector. But even she wasn't safe. Another asked, if this can happen to her, what happens to kids with no protection? In their quiet home outside the city, Leila sat curled up on the couch. Her bear, Teddy, was now charging on a small pad. The tiny scratch on his left leg hadn't been fixed completely. Chief Raina entered the room. His uniform was off. Now he looked like just a regular dad, except his eyes still held the storm. He sat beside Lila. "How are you feeling?" "I'm okay," she said quietly. "I just didn't like how people watched, but said nothing." Raina nodded. "That hurt me too." He handed her a warm drink. "People are scared, but now they've seen what happens when they stay silent." She looked up. "Are they still talking about me?" Raina nodded again. "Yes, a lot. But they're also talking about justice and change." Just then, his holopad blinked. Commander Suri, head of the Interplanetary Rights Council, was calling. Raina answered. Her blue hologram shimmered above the table. "Raina," she said, serious but kind, "the Council wants a full review of Earth's public safety systems. We saw the footage. If even your child is vulnerable, we must ask, how safe is anyone else?" Raina kept calm. "Agreed, I'll lead the review myself." Suri added, "Also, Lila has become a symbol. People are marching in her name. A new movement is forming. They're calling it Lila's Light." Lila's eyes widened. "Me?" Suri smiled. "Yes, child. You showed strength without violence. That matters." The call ended. Lila looked at her dad. "What if people think I'm just famous because of you?" Raina smiled gently. "Then we show them the truth." He stood and walked to his command room. There, he pressed a button. Screens lit up with video feeds from across the planet. Marches, signs, songs, and kids drawing stars in dirt, just like Lila. Meanwhile, far away, Mr. Holtz sat in a dark holding cell, watching the same videos. His face was tight with regret. The guards ignored him. He wasn't important anymore. A small screen outside his cell showed a headline. "Chief's daughter attacked. Now the galaxy demands justice." In Unity Park, someone had placed a silver plaque under the tree where Lila had played. It read, "Here, a child stood tall, and the stars listened." But the story wasn't over. Raina knew something bigger was coming. The attack had triggered an old system, the Legacy Protocol, a forgotten security code tied to ancient Earth laws. And only Lila could unlock it. Legacy Protocol activated. A soft chime echoed through Chief Raina's command room. The screen pulsed red with glowing text. "Legacy Protocol activated. Awaiting biomatch. LIARHAINER." Chief Raina froze. This wasn't just any protocol. This was a secret defense system created long before he became chief, only to be used if a child of high clearance was harmed unjustly on Earth territory. He had only read about it in ancient files. No one ever thought it would be triggered. "Lila," he called gently, "I need you in the command room." She entered, wearing her fuzzy socks, holding her bear. Raina kneeled. "Sweetheart, remember that badge you pressed in the park?" She nodded. That badge wasn't just a tracker. It was connected to something very old, something powerful. He motioned to the scanner. "Place your hand here." Lila looked unsure. "Is it safe?" Raina smiled. "It's only for you. It won't work for anyone else." She stepped up and placed her hand on the glowing scanner. The light blinked blue, then gold. Match confirmed. Initiating Starchild directive. Suddenly, a secret wall panel opened. Inside was a floating orb, silver, humming, and covered in ancient markings. Lila gasped. "It's beautiful." Raina stared. "This orb, it holds the codes to Earth's global defense satellites. It's meant to protect innocent lives, especially children." A voice came from the orb. It was gentle and old. "Hello, Starchild. Your signal has been heard. You may command justice, peace, or silence." Lila turned to her dad. "What do I do?" Raina placed a hand on her shoulder. "You lead with your heart." She looked at the orb. "I don't want revenge," she said softly. "I want safety for everyone, so no one feels like I did." The orb glowed brighter. "Starchild request accepted. Activating plant-wide guardian scan." Miles away, across cities, towns, and schools, drones lit up the sky. They scanned for threats, reviewed public safety systems, and recorded data. People looked up in shock and awe. In Unity Park, Where the incident happened, golden lights formed a protective dome over the children's area. A nearby boy whispered, "It's the Star Child's shield." Meanwhile, in the holding cell, Mr. Holtz saw it all on a tiny screen. His hands shook. He realized he hadn't just slapped a child. He had triggered a movement and awakened a sleeping giant. Back at home, Raina stood behind Leela as the orb gently dimmed. He whispered, "You just changed the future." But deep beneath the planet's crust, unknown to them, the orb had also sent a second signal to a hidden satellite far beyond Earth's orbit. A cold voice answered. Starchild confirmed. Alpha Watchers returning to Earth. Leela blinked, feeling a chill. Daddy, something else is coming. The return of the Alpha Watchers. Far above Earth's orbit, something ancient was waking up. Hidden behind the shadow of Saturn, a massive satellite blinked for the first time in 300 years. Its message was clear. Starchild's signal confirmed, initiating Alpha Watcher return. Inside the Nova Patrol HQ on Earth, alarms rang. Commander Vieb gasped. The Alpha Watchers. That's impossible. They were exiled. Back on Earth, Chief Raina watched the skies darken, even though it was only afternoon. Golden streaks of light appeared in the sky, moving fast, slicing through the clouds. People looked up in silence. Children clutched their parents. Robotic news drones flew overhead broadcasting. Breaking. Unknown spacecrafts entering Earth airspace. No signs of attack. Unknown energy signature. At Unity Park, Leela's robotic bear turned toward the sky and made a soft wire. Alpha Watchers incoming, it said. Leela blinked. Who are they? Raina crouched beside her. They're guardians. Ancient ones. They protected Earth a long time ago, until humans stopped needing them, or so we thought. 3 glowing crafts landed silently in Unity Park. They didn't shake the Earth. They didn't fire any weapons. They just appeared, like a whisper of power. Out of each stepped tall, silver-armored beings. Not quite human, not quite machine. One knelt in front of Leela. Starchild, it said in a voice that echoed in every heart nearby. You have awakened us. Why? Leela looked down. A man hurt me. Not just me. He hurts people who look like me. And no one stopped him. Not until now. The Alpha Watcher tilted its head. We detect injustice, corruption, fear. This must be corrected. The other 2 Watchers stepped forward and placed their hands on the ground. Instantly, a glowing map of Earth appeared, showing areas of unrest, danger, inequality. They pointed to hotspots of injustice. Earth has drifted, one said, but the Starchild has called balance. Mr. Holtz, now in the custody of city officers, was brought to the park under armed watch. When he saw the Watchers, he fell to his knees. I didn't know. I didn't mean. The lead Watcher spoke. You knew, but you didn't care, until consequences came. Holtz was scanned. His crimes were broadcast in real time. Years of bullying, assault, false reports, and silence from others. The crowd gasped. The Watchers turned to Leela. You hold justice now. Shall we erase him? Raina stood still. He didn't interfere. Leela's voice was soft but firm. No, let the world see who he is. Let him live in a world that finally fights back. The Watchers nodded. Wise. Your judgment is law. They turned back to Holtz. You will work. You will rebuild. You will serve the people you harmed. A glowing cuff locked around Holtz's arm. He vanished in a shimmer, transported to a justice rehabilitation colony. Leela looked around. People clapped. Kids ran to hug her. She wasn't just a child anymore. She was hope. But in the shadows of deep space, something else had seen the signal too. Something watching the Watchers. A red eye blinked. A system activated. The final signal. The world was calm for a moment. In Unity Park, people celebrated Leela. Cameras flashed. Drones hovered quietly, broadcasting the story across the galaxy. News anchors called her the Starchild who changed everything. Chief Raina stood beside her, proud but alert. He knew peace never lasted long. Suddenly, every screen, drone, and smartwatch in the area blinked, then turned red. A single message appeared. EROR. Starchild protocol breached. Countermeasure activated. COD. OEGL. The skies trembled. Far beyond Earth, deep in the abandoned ruins of planet Vela, something ancient and dangerous had awakened. It was called the Null Core, a shadow AI built long ago to stop the Alpha Watchers. It saw fairness as a flaw, mercy as weakness. Now it had detected Leela, and it wanted to destroy her. Back in the park, the ground rumbled. The Alpha Watchers stepped forward, forming a shield around Leela. The sky cracked open, and a massive black cube fell from orbit. It hovered above the park, humming with dark energy. Everyone panicked. "Daddy?" Lila whispered. Raina pulled her close. "Stay with me." The cube spoke in a broken machine voice. Starchild detected. Balance is broken. Purge required. It released drones. Hundreds of dark, buzzing machines with red eyes. The Alpha Watchers fought back, slicing through them with light, but they were outnumbered. One Watcher fell. Another took damage. The last one turned to Leela. "You must activate the core of harmony." Lila's eyes glowed softly. Her bear opened its chest, revealing a small crystal. She touched it. Time froze. Inside her mind, she saw a vision. Every child bullied, every act of hate, every time someone stayed silent. Then she saw love, protection, her dad, the Watchers, the people who stood up. Lila stood tall. No more fear. She raised the crystal. A pulse of golden light exploded from her. The cube cracked. The red drones melted. The Null Core screamed and tried to retreat. But Lila's light followed it into space and erased it from every system it had ever touched. When the light faded, Unity Park was quiet again. The Alpha Watchers knelt. "It is done," one whispered. "She is not just a starchild. She is a beacon." Raina smiled. "You saved more than just today, baby girl." Lila hugged her dad. Across the galaxy, signals changed. Laws updated. Robots reprogrammed. People started to see others, really see them, for the first time. Because one little girl stood her ground and lit up the universe.